Hello, and welcome to another episode of In Like Cyn.
Yo, everything I do is brand new. I must continue. Yeah, everything I do is brand new. I must continue.
And today we are heading down to the Hotel Cecil. And there are a lot of different legends that go along with the Hotel Cecil. So let's go explore. I headed to the historic core district, which was the center of Los Angeles before World War II. The area showcases many of the things that originally put Los Angeles on the world stage, including lovely parks, ornate movie palaces, and other architectural marvels like the Bradbury Building and the Edison nightclub. Just parked the car and walking down Main Street. So the hotel has rebranded itself as Stay on Main. But we know it's the Hotel Cecil. We know it. The beautiful vintage European-style hotel was constructed in the 1920s, opening its doors in 1924. Although this is debated, some say 1927. The Hotel Cecil was intended for business travelers, but in the 1950s, it gained a reputation as a residence for transients. 700 rooms. Part of the hotel is a dedicated hostel to attract travelers from Europe, but for years it has been known as an SRO, single room occupancy, long-term tenants with their own rooms, but the bathrooms are shared by residents. Today, under the new owners, 3 floors have been converted back into hotel rooms. The dark reputation of the hotel goes back to 1947, and as it connects to one of the darkest unsolved crimes of Hollywood history, the Black Dahlia. But this is the hotel where Richard Ramirez stays. The last places the Black Dahlia was seen before she went missing. A copycat killer of Richard Ramirez, Elisa Lam. I'm going to tell you about all these stories and link you over to the video so you can see Elisa Lam's last moments. It was thought to be her last moments in an elevator inside the hotel. Black Dahlia, Elizabeth Short, a fledgling actress, was last seen alive at the Hotel Cecil. She would be discovered in a field on South Norton Avenue, cut in half at the waist and exsanguinated or drained completely of blood. Some say the hotel is cursed. Like I've already mentioned, the hotel has rebranded itself Stay on Main. Unfortunately, no name change is going to wash away the gory, blood-soaked past of one of America's most cursed and haunted hotels. The 1950s and 1960s, the hotels of the area were filled with people at the edge of integrating with society. But the Hotel Cecil was the place where everybody came to die. 7 years after the Black Dahlia, on October 22, 1954, 50-year-old Helen Gurney jumped out of the 7th floor window, landing on the Hotel Cecil's marquee, dying instantly. February 11, 1962, Julia Moore jumped from her 8th floor room window. Found in her room after her death were a bus ticket from St. Louis, 59 cents, and an Illinois bank account book showing a balance of $1,800. October 12, 1962, Pauline Auton, 27, had an argument with her estranged husband and jumped from a 9th floor window. As luck would have it, she landed on 65-year-old George Giannini, who was walking on the sidewalk below. Both were killed instantly. Beyond the suicides, there have been numerous murders at this hotel as well. On June 4th, 1964, Pigeon Goldie Osgood was known for protecting and feeding pigeons in nearby Pershing Square. The retired telephone operator was found in her ransacked Hotel Cecil room, stabbed, strangled, and raped. This crime has never been solved. The history of paranormal occurrences at the hotel are rumors and whispers. Before we get to the serial killers that have lived in these walls, let me tell you the story of Elisa Lam. On January 26, 2013, 21-year-old college student Elisa Lam took Amtrak into Los Angeles, and she checked in here, 640 South Main Street, none other than the Hotel Cecil. Lam, a psychology student from the University of British Columbia, was on holiday break. According to her Facebook page, she went to the San Diego Zoo as well as attended the taping of the Conan O'Brien show, and she called her parents daily until January 31st, 2013. Her parents knew immediately something was wrong and called the Vancouver PD, who in turn called the LAPD to investigate a missing person. LAPD K-9 scoured the Hotel Cecil from the bottom floor to the top floor. The dogs were even taken to the rooftop, and they found no scent of Elisa, and nothing was suspicious. February 14th, 2013, the LAPD released the video of Elisa in the elevator. This is the Elisa Lam video. I'm going to put a link up to it. Note that she's wearing black shorts, a red sweatshirt, and sandals. She enters the elevator, presses the buttons, then she sort of backs herself into a corner and she looks frightened. Some people say she's talking to someone, but to whom? She peeks outside the elevator, goes in and out, presses the buttons, trying to get the elevator to work, but it doesn't. She goes in and out a few times and finally gives up, walks out, outside of view of the camera, and the elevator door closes, and she's never seen alive again. February 19th, a resident complained of low water pressure. The maintenance man took a ladder to the roof, unlocked the access door to the roof, turned off the alarm to the roof, and made his way to 4 1,000-gallon tanks that sit up on a platform raised about 5 feet off the roof. Each tank is about 4 foot in diameter and 8 feet tall, with very slick sides to them. He put the ladder up to one of the tanks and opens the latch at the top of the tank, looks inside, and sees Elisa floating, face up and naked. He gets down and calls the LAPD homicide detectives. The detectives come out and they're baffled by what they see, but they figure out the tank opening is too small to remove her body. They cut a larger hole to the top of the tank, and they see her clothes and sandals around her in the tank. Coroner responds and removes her body. And there are no visible injuries except for a scratch on her knee. February 22nd, the coroner's report states that the cause of death is inconclusive. And then for 4 long months, nothing. Then on June 20th, the coroner releases a statement that the cause of death was accidental drowning. The coroner's report went on to say something strange. It wasn't suicide, and no foul play occurred. The clothing found floating in the tank with her is exactly what she wore in the elevator. However, the cell phone that she carried with her everywhere was never found. How did she get through a locked door And how did she get into the tank with no ladder? No ladder was found on the roof. Many people theorize that she used the fire escape to reach the roof. But this unsolved case gets even weirder. Buried on page 17 of the coroner's report, they admit that they couldn't get a blood tox screen because they couldn't find enough blood in her body to do the toxicology screen. No blood was found in the water and no unusual points on the skin to explain how the blood could have been drained from her body. Here's a very strange side note. February 21st, just 2 days after Elisa Lam's body was found in the water tower, CDC dispatches scientists to Los Angeles to understand an aggressive strain of tuberculosis spreading so rapidly. Okay, what does a TB outbreak have to do with all this Elisa Lam case? The Los Angeles Times cites that the CDC will use what is called the Lam/Elisa test to test the tuberculosis to discover the exact strain spreading in victims in LA. Coincidence? The internet hive mind has turned Elisa Lam into a macabre celebrity just like the Black Dahlia. And I've saved the best for last, or in this case, the worst for last. During the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, people who were down on their luck flocked to the Hotel Cecil, just at the edge of Skid Row. During that time, the Hotel Cecil was home to not one, but two serial killers. Richard Ramirez, a serial killer known as the Night Stalker, lived in the Cecil's top floor in a $14 a week room. It was 1984 going on 1985, and the hotel was flooded with transients. Ramirez went on his killing sprees, burglaring, raping, and killing 13 women. Ramirez would return to the Hotel Cecil, dropping his bloody clothes in the dumpster, going in the back entrance. After he was caught, Ramirez, an avowed Satanist, never expressed any remorse for his crimes. Received 13 death sentences, but died of lymphoma awaiting execution on California's death row. 6 years later, in 1991, Jack Unterweger worked as a journalist covering LA crime for an Austrian magazine. He checked into the Hotel Cecil. A serial killer, Jack began to copycat Ramirez. In his 5-week stay, Unterweger killed 3 hookers in his room. Unterweger was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. He committed suicide by hanging himself. You come to Los Angeles, take the Hotel Horrors and Main Street Vice tour. I'm not sure I recommend exploring on your own. Next week on In Like Cyn, Ariane Von Camp and I take a trip to Jet Propulsion Lab Open House. So, we're in mission control right now.
We're having NASA certified pizza. Pretty good.
This pizza was made on Mars.
Pizza of the astronauts.
Join me every Thursday for a new In Like Cyn. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. Subscribe. All the social media links over here are down below. Click subscribe. Look for a new In Like Cyn every Thursday.